I'm not looking dapper, so what we've decided is that Candace is going to shave my head.
Would you let your spouse give you a haircut? I would, and I'm going to share with you the outcome. However, I figure we should talk about Taos, New Mexico. That's the topic of discussion here on this episode of Leon's Great Escape. Taos is a scruffy bohemian art town that is in some ways unkept and falling apart, and in others it's teeming with life and revitalization. Which side of that experience you end up seeing depends on the street or neighborhood that you walk through. It's a lot like Los Angeles in that regard. In general, New Mexico is socioeconomically depressed, but don't take my word on that. How about the 2015 study by the Economic Innovation Group, a bipartisan think tank out of DC, that found that more than 1 in 5 adults in New Mexico live in communities or neighborhoods that can be considered economically distressed. Depression can be a muse for some artists, and art thrives here. I put the town count at 50% artists, 40% tourists, and the remainder being in the other category. The population cap's around 5,600 people, and since we're talking about numbers, the altitude is 7,000 feet. The air feels thin to me, but you can find natural and spiritual healers on just about every corner, and they're willing to cure you of your altitude sickness or sell you crystals or gems. Our journey took us here by way of Twirl, New Mexico. We stayed at a lovely winery there. I've linked to a video of that in the description. We drove through the majestic Carson National Forest and snapped a few photos there. The Carson Forest is no doubt named after the famous frontiersman and war hero of the 1800s, Kit Carson, who is quite celebrated in Taos. The Freemasons, of which Kit or Christopher was a member of, were able to save his house and turn it into a museum. You can even visit his grave. We didn't, but you could. So what did we do over the 7 nights that we stayed here? Where did we stay, in fact, and how did we find it? Well, Candace likes to use an app called Campendium. It's a good thing to help you get the lay of the land wherever you want to go. There's other resources that we use, but Campendium is how we found Taos Valley RV Park and Campground. And it was a good find, reasonably priced at $38 per night. That's the weekly rate, mind you. You get a price break the longer you stay. The park had a park, and full hookups, and a decent laundry room. Now here's what we did. First off, there's something called the Rio Grande Gorge, and it's huge. Travel west of Taos on US Highway 64, and you will eventually find the 5th highest bridge in the US. It towers 650 feet above the Rio Grande River and spans over 1,600 feet in length. The bridge is a 3-span steel continuous deck truss structure with concrete-filled steel grid decks. It's called, or was called, the Bridge to Nowhere, because while it was being built, they didn't actually have the funds to continue the road on the other side. That's how they did things in 1965. We had lunch there and attempted to buy a cup of coffee from some questionable hippies in a converted bus. They couldn't break a 50, and it was probably for the best. Another nature eye candy feast would be the ski town of Taos. We spent a couple of hours driving around the mountain areas there and found some rocks to sit on and some fast-moving water that was fed by the snowmelt. There was also Taos Plaza, where we'd eventually see some live entertainment and Pepper would dance to her heart's content. But a must-stop for anyone with kids is down an alley next to a bar appropriately named Alley Cantina. Cunning parents can tag team with their kids while they play at Twirl, a wonderful toy store. The not-it parent can sit at the patio and enjoy a decent margarita for half price during their happy hour. It's not difficult to find great meals at reasonable prices in Taos. One of our favorites was a spot called Orlando's New Mexican Cafe. The pozole and chili relleno were delectable, and I made sure to steal one of Candace's blue corn tacos. Pepper, well, she didn't eat anything because she's 2, and she was on a hunger strike. If you like beer, visit Taos Mesa Brewing, or if you want a cup of coffee, then the sights at the Farmhouse are tranquil, but warning, the service is slow. There's even a new distillery that popped up recently, and they make a mean cold brew coffee Manhattan. The Taos Inn has music most nights, and it's been around forever. Stop there too if you want, or don't. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. There's a bunch of shopping to be done in this town. They've got custom-made guitars, hand-woven rugs, and paintings. More paintings than the Smithsonian, in fact. I don't know if that's true. On the subject of sharing, when will I share with you how my spouse's haircut went? How about now? Shout out to my new, free, hairdresser Candace Leon. Thanks, honey. I love it. One thing that I observed, which is something very foreign to me, was that the people of Taos genuinely want to catch up with each other. There are conversations happening all over the place. You have to walk around them. How was your brother? Oh, he moved to Albuquerque? Is the knee still giving you trouble? How's such and such? It's all very neighborly. I found with time I even started to share more about my personal journey with the people that I met. It's dry in a desert town. And by the close of our stay in Taos, we were ready to get out of that aridness and into new aridness. Next up, Santa Fe. But that's a story for another vlog.